Hello, everyone. My name is Alda Dansou, and I am a Campus Compact AmeriCorps member serving at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology at the Chicago campus in Chicago, Illinois. So first, I want to show you all the Chicago School of Professional Psychology's school logo, and then go straight into talking about the department that I serve in, so community partnerships. The Chicago School of Professional Psychology's TCSPP, Department of Community Partnerships, strives to strengthen relationship and build capacity between itself and its various partner sites. So we are partnered with over 30 nonprofit organizations throughout Chicago. And Community Partnerships offers this wide range of hands-on learning opportunities to all TCSPP students, as well as faculty and staff, through which they can challenge their biases, engage in new communities, and gain new perspectives. And this kind of goes directly into our priorities. So the department prioritizes its two learning outcomes throughout recruitment as well as throughout service as well, professionalism and diversity. So helping to cultivate social justice centered and well-rounded, well-equipped psychologists who truly understand the value of service and community. And the ultimate aim of community partnerships, I would say, is to improve the quality of life in the communities that are served and to help these partner sites build their capacity as well. And so now I want to go into describing Oakley Square and our partnership with Oakley Square. So the Community Partnerships Department collaborates with various nonprofits, over 30 like previously mentioned, but it works closest with the Community Builders Inc., which is a low-income housing development company. So one of their units that they run is the Oakley Square apartment complex. So that is located over in the west side of Chicago. And so for the past almost 9 years now, TCSPP has ran a homework helping program on site for Oakley youth K through 12. And it's actually through this long partnership that has been built over time that the need for mental health services was distinguished not only by TCSPP but also by Oakley Square community stakeholders. And so our project goals this year, TCSPP and the Interwoven Counseling Center, which is actually a part of the Chicago School as well, embarked on a new project with the purpose of launching a satellite counseling center at Oakley to tend to the mental health needs of the community. So in its first year of the project, a community needs assessment is being developed as well as a report in preparation for the center's launch during the second year of the project. So now I want to go into more specifics as to what the mental health needs assessment report will include. So it will include data from interviews with Oakley stakeholders and key informants, gatekeepers, data from a focus group of proactive residents of Oakley Square. And by the proactive residents, I'm referring to the older adult group. I will talk a little bit more about that later. Data from a larger scope resident survey. So this survey was actually launched recently, and we are still accepting responses from residents. And then highlights of the wants and needs of the community, as well as culturally sensitive recommendations on next steps. So these next steps will be implemented by the next AmeriCorps Vista. So project goals again. So aside from the latest initiatives towards the creation of mental health services for Oakley residents, TCSPP also prioritizes building program capacity of the homework helper program. So through recruiting student tutors and developing trainings that promote trauma-informed care tutoring so that we're truly creating a safe space for our youth to learn and thrive in. TCSPP is helping to ensure Oakley youth receive the support they deserve that will truly benefit their academic and social health. And then COVID-19. So throughout the 2020 to 2021 academic year, TCSPP operated completely virtual. So this affected recruitment. So volunteer, federal work study, college work study recruitment, all stages were made suitable for remote operation. So the fall and spring volunteer fair were both held virtually. So The fairs are an opportunity for community partnerships to promote our partner sites and to promote their positions to our students as well. And then job descriptions or volunteer descriptions as well were posted online via Handshake. And this was the career service that we used to receive applications from students. And interviews with students took place via Zoom as well. And then so I just want to pull from some numbers from the previous academic year. So 108 students were serving through community assistantships, which are the volunteer college work study, federal work study positions long term. And then 14 homework help room tutors were being managed. And so later on, I will kind of show what those numbers look like today for contrast. And then COVID-19's impact on our operations at Oakley Square. So with Homework Help Room, it was reconstructed to operate as a virtual program via Zoom, and tutoring sessions were held one-on-one in breakout rooms. So students and their youth or mentees are placed into a breakout room so they can get that kind of like one-on-one, distraction-free or distraction-reduced, depending on where they are at, learning environment. So, and then there's also the older adult group. So this was the group that the focus group was held with. But so they are also known as SIL Art, and it is a psychoeducational group for Oakley's senior resident that was intended to be held in person. So this psychoeducational group, honestly, very perfect timing due to COVID-19. Session switched to virtual, but it was truly just an opportunity for the older residents to combat some of those feelings of isolation that kicked people the hardest during COVID, especially senior communities. And so giving them the chance to socialize as well as to learn about new healthy or habits that could be beneficial for their mental health was incredibly important. And then so the community needs assessment as well. All interviews and focus groups were held virtually via Zoom, and currently the survey component of the needs assessment is being offered online as well as by paper. And then the Sue Duncan Children's Center. So this is another one of the Chicago School of Professional Psychology's partner sites. And so they also run an after-school program for youth in Chicago. So as opposed to west side of Chicago, however, they serve youth in the south side. And so while planning for its own virtual tutoring program, Sue Duncan Children's Center decided to join forces with Oakley Square's virtual homework help room program. And so Oakley Youth and Sue Duncan Youth are being seen in the same Zoom meeting, Zoom call in order to receive those services. And now challenges. So with volunteer recruitment, due to COVID-19, not all partner sites were able to run at full or even mid-capacity, and some sites were completely closed for the time being, and therefore Community Partnerships was unable to collaborate with its full usual, over 30 partner sites, and so we were unable to collaborate with at least 13 of our usual partner sites. And so this also means kind of less opportunities for our students as well. So COVID-19, in terms of the needs assessment, restrictions made it more difficult to engage new Oakley residents. While we were able to strengthen and work on relationships with that had been built in the past, for example, with parents through Homework Help Room, not being able to go on site and to kind of be seen by more residents made it difficult to kind of engage new residents that we hadn't already built relationships with in the past. And then in order to abide by measures to keep Oakley and TCSPP members safe, the advisory board, which was supposed to be planned, organized, hosted this year, got put on hold. And so, this is because it was supposed to be in person with snacks and, it was supposed to be one of those type of groups. And so it'll be put on hold for next year. And then in terms of Homework Help Room and the older adult group, one challenge that we experience is inconsistent attendance. And, these are a very difficult period for everyone, youth and older adults as well, vulnerable populations as such. But so we experience inconsistent attendance. This could be due to emergencies that just arise throughout people's lives, day-to-day things that may make them forget about the sessions. And then for Homework Help Room in particular, we noticed that when the youth go on break and then they come back, have to come back to school and tutoring, it can be a difficult transition. And so there are things that we do in order to combat inconsistent attendance, however, such as sending out reminders and yeah, making sure that we're reaching out to people. And then Zoom burnouts. So this is especially the case for youth in the homework helper program because they are on Zoom, 7+ hours because they are coming directly into these sessions at times from school, from logging off of remote learning. And so that is why it's so important for us to prioritize work and play. So we make sure that there's that good balance between work and play and that they get breaks and they get to have some fun with their tutors as well because that's what really keeps them wanting to come back. And then also making sure that we are doing check-ins with them every time that the youth log on to sessions to see how they're feeling as well. And then technical difficulties, which is kind of to be expected when you are depending on technology as much, but from anywhere from connectivity issues, from audio issues, feedback when we have youth that are being tutored in the same household, making sure that they are going into separate kind of locations to be tutored, or they have headphones. And so there are, several things that we've attempted to do in order to solve issues as such. And then just people having to, like, maybe when somebody's device breaks or turns off, and then they get logged off of the Zoom call and things of that sort. But when issues such as that arise, we try our best to troubleshoot on the spot. And now for impact. So, in addition to providing youth help with their homework, an academic skill building program was added to Homework Help Room in efforts to meet the needs of children who could benefit from extra support in reading, writing, math, etc. And so this was a lot more of a structured program as opposed to just kind of relying on youth to bring their homework to help them. So this chart, as you can see, hopefully, just kind of compares the price level value of homework help room services in comparison with big name tutoring services such as the Huntington Learning Center and Sylvan Learning Center. So Homework Help Room, the academic skill building program, offers an initial evaluation just to kind of gauge where the youth skills are at. And as you can see with Huntington Learning Center, that ranges, can be as much as $200. And then the academic skill building program also offers personalized tutoring once the evaluation is conducted, and this is really like tailored curriculum to the child and what their needs are. And then they can also we've also been able to provide test prep. So we had a middle schooler or an 8th grader in our program, and they had to take a standardized exam, and so they were receiving some tutoring in preparation for that. And so for even just a 1-hour tutoring session with a Huntington Learning Center, that can cost up to $75 per hour. But we want to make sure that we are offering these services to Oakley youth and student and families for completely free. And we are teaching youth how to read. So this is a main impact and just definitely one of the highlights of this entire year for us. So 14 reading evaluations were delivered, and we are teaching youth K through 5 specifically in the program as well, fundamental reading skills such as phonics and fluency. What we kind of were able to observe this year was that we had 4th graders, 3rd graders, 2nd graders who were not able to read at that level, who were only able to read at the kindergarten level. And so what this does is it creates a barrier in terms of how well they're able to thrive during school as well, and they're kind of being left behind. And so making sure that we are offering them this one-on-one tutoring that's very tailored to them is kind of our attempt to try to get them caught up so that they can thrive at the other subjects as well, because reading is such a fundamental skill to have, and it is going to be incorporated, a skill that is incorporated in all the other subjects as well. So from this data, you can see we pulled some numbers from 2 of the youth in our program, and it's really just showing how they progressed throughout the beginning of the skill program. And so word fluency then versus now, you can see sound fluency then versus now, you can see, and just how much they've improved. And it's something that we take just a lot of pride in and we're very happy about. And not yet, just want to provide a little bit of a note as to what that is. Instead of saying incorrect or error, we want to emphasize the fact that it's not yet. So they will get it eventually with time, with more practice. We just want to make sure that, we are utilizing more like empowering terminology. And then there's also improved academic performance that we have noticed. So some of the parents have sent us their youth's report cards, and through the report cards you could see that they were improving, that their grades improved. Then there's also raised test scores. So the one eighth grader that I mentioned who took the standardized exam, she received her score increased by 9 units after she took it the second time. And then we also have a reward system where youth are able to gain participation points, and we're able to reward them for participating throughout their sessions, and yeah, just give them an opportunity to also like earn points and to cash out and gain prizes. And this is a way to kind of keep things a little bit more fun and to incentivize and motivate them to participate. And so this chart is kind of showing how much participation points each of our youth. Right now we have 17 students in the program. This is not including the youth in the program who have been removed. So this is just the youth in the program right now at this moment. But so all of them in total have earned $306 in participation points, which is huge. And then parent satisfaction. This is a very big part, and especially for sustainability. A survey was sent out to parents and guardians of Oakley and Sue Duncan Children's Center youth to gather their feedback and satisfaction with this year's program. And so this was an opportunity for them to kind of voice their opinion of this year's program, because it's the parents that are encouraging the youth as well to hop onto the sessions, and their satisfaction with the program is huge for our sustainability and the growth of our program, because they are also the ones who oftentimes can spread the word to other parents about these services that they're receiving. And 5 out of 5 of the parents who took the survey reported that they were very satisfied with the program. And so right now it's only showing 4, but we actually received another parent's response, and they also agreed that they were satisfied and that the program was being helpful. And so maintaining connected with students. So 194 student applications were received via handshake, 132 volunteers were recruited, 138 are currently serving with community assistantships. And so in the past, I believe the number was a little bit lower, 103, I believe. I might have gotten that wrong. But so 34 new volunteers are managed, 24 are homework help room tutors have been managed as well. The number last year was 14. 387 volunteer hours have been managed, and 22 organizations have received capacity building services. Okay, sorry about that. Bear with me, everyone. Okay, and then building capacity. So with those 22 organizations that have received capacity building services, those are the organizations that we feel we've really been able to strengthen partnerships with. And also, a trauma-informed care workshop was developed to train new tutors in taking a trauma-informed approach in teaching and tutoring. So this was kind of briefly mentioned before, but so the workshop will be able to be as a PowerPoint presentation that encourages discussion, and it'll be a discussion that takes place within a group, so that they can really bounce off and on of each other. And yeah, so it'll be a workshop that they can use next year and the following years as well to train in trauma-informed care. And then we haven't been able to strengthen pre-existing partnerships. So although community partnerships collaborated with less partner sites this year, we were still able to strengthen partnerships and work with a variety of our partner sites like never before, like with the Sue Duncan Children's Center. And then with sustainability, so ongoing partnership with community leaders have been built. So, for example, with the Oakley Square Older Adult Group, and then the community needs assessment will be utilized to ensure the wellness center meets the needs of Oakley Square, because I feel like a big part of sustainability is making sure that what the interventions that are being taken place are relevant to the actual needs of the community. And then creating reports that combine relevant data to share with stakeholders and funders to solidify financial health of programs. So presentations have been done on some of the activities that we've been doing throughout this year, and it's been shared with Oakley Square stakeholders, and that is something that's going to be able to be shared with the community builders organization as well, and the people who kind of give us grants and funding. So, what is next and long term goals? So, soon Oakley will have its very own integrated healthcare services. So, at the moment, they have a primary care services. So, they have a primary care clinic. It's called the Sujin Health Clinic on site through Rush University. And but we want to make sure that they now have access to affordable mental health services. So recommendations made in the needs assessment report will be used to guide program implementation of this wellness survey. And then, so the services are going to be offered at the Wellness Center are presentations, workshops, support groups on key topics for youth and adults, and individual and family counseling. And then we are also, what is to be done? We need to collaborate with Oakley Square's community life manager and Sujin staff on deciding wellness center hours that best serve residents. That advisory board that we were not able to create this year, we want to be able to create that next year. And we want to make sure that we are implementing solutions for countering mental health stigma. Unfortunately, there's a lot of mental health stigma in the community. And so also offering extra support for Oakley's young adults. So not only just with the Homework Helping program, but making sure that we are giving some of those youth who are in high school presentations on like career planning, scholarships, as well as different options that they have in terms of post high school graduation. And with Homework Help Room. So next year, we found that the virtual programming actually worked quite well, and it allowed us to kind of expand our scope of the program because for youth, or sorry, not for youth, but for students where transportation to Oakley Square was an issue, no longer was it an issue because they could simply hop onto their call and log on and provide the services that were needed. So next year it'll be a hybrid program. So Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll make that virtual, and then Wednesdays will be in person. So Wednesdays will be designated for the social emotional learning that we will be incorporating, and then a professional development course for bachelor students is being built. So students will train with the program supervisor to learn how to conduct evaluations and create lesson plans. And so this is a picture of the AIM curriculum. So this will be used to teach social emotional learning, and it also incorporates applied behavioral analysis like the tutoring, the academic skill building program. And then we are also going to be using PikaPack, and it's like a fun interactive SEL curriculum as well, but they have like a little virtual game, a virtual world that the students that K through 5th mainly will be able to engage in. And this is just a picture of some of their stats. So when the youth log on to the game, actually it asks them for to enter a journal, or to journal like how they're feeling. And so this is a great way to start to get our youth to start learning how to express their feelings and to also reflect on their emotions as well. And so for lessons, I think some of the main things that I learned throughout this year was how important it is to practice accountability, humility, and patience. So accountability in terms of not promising anything that we are not certain that we are able to do, and making sure that what we say we will do, we get done. And also practicing humility, knowing that we are not the experts, and learning from the community and making sure that they have the opportunity to voice their opinions and to voice their wants. And having patience as well, knowing that we are not going to see progress overnight, and that if things don't necessarily work out the way that we intended them to or the way that we expected, not to take that personally either. and that you truly get out of this experience and this Vista project outcome as well. What you put in, time, respect, not only for the project, but for the community members that you're serving and interacting with, care and effort. And then prioritizing building rapport with the targeted community is very important, and making sure that you're creating multiple avenues to build rapport. For example, with the older adult group, we're building rapport with senior residents, and then with homework help room, we're building rapport with youth and with parents. But then also making sure that you're including the community members throughout all the different stages of your projects, and not only in the beginning, for example, with the needs assessment, but throughout the rest of it as well when we're implementing the program. And so I think this is going to be definitely where the advisory board has to come in, and so they can be hands-on throughout the entire project as well. And so recommendations I have for the next AmeriCorps Vista, so definitely get more community exposure, which will be great because they will be able to hopefully be in person next year. So they could set up drop-in hours so residents can simply drop by to say hi, or even stay to chat if they want. And then collaborate with more organizations near Oakley Square and West Side Chicago, such as the Malcolm X College. So this is a great opportunity to build more capacity, build more partnership, and to interact with more community leaders as well, which is very huge for sustainability. And then prioritizing reducing that stigma that exists within the community and debunking some of the myths that people hold on common mental health disorders, medication, and DCFS as well has been concerned for especially families with children. And so maybe offering presentations that touch on these different issues, and pamphlets that provide some of these information as well. And then offering in-person and virtual anonymous workshops and support groups. So while in-person ones will be great, this is this will be a community on-site wellness center. And so while some people may be comfortable with having strangers, sharing aspects of their private lives to their strangers, others not so much, especially if it's, people that they see on a day-to-day basis and they're not really comfortable with them knowing knowing about their private lives. And so I think offering virtual anonymous workshops will be really important, so that there's that sense of confidentiality, and they're able to stay anonymous. So also breaking ground for individual counseling by emphasizing family or youth-based therapy. So family for a lot of Oakley residents is just so huge. And so believe even from some of what we've heard from residents, people will probably be more likely to try out that family counseling, because they want to prioritize their family, making sure that they have everything that they need. So kind of starting off with family counseling and youth-based therapy, and then working our way into individual counseling, and after their trust is built and after they kind of get to know some of the people who are going to be providing them therapy as well. So I think this would just kind of be a good method of breaking our ice and slowly getting residents used to the idea of counseling. And then transitioning from virtual to back in person. So the sustainability binder will be used to ease transition. Methods that were used throughout the virtual platform will be outlined and distinguished from methods that were used in person throughout past years. And next year, in-person operations can be paired with efficient and feasible virtual tactics that we used to get the best results. And so thank you so much for taking the time to learn about my project. Thank you.